Right, hi lads and lasses, and welcome to Darts Coaching with Dynamite Dave. This is a special edition or a special episode of A Chuck and a Chat, and it's one of our player interviews. I think you'll absolutely love this. This guy is fantastic, and I've been coaching him now for, well, getting on 3 years, but obviously minus the 18 months for COVID. He's come from quite a dark place in his darting career, as you'll see as we go through the interview, into the sunlight where he is now. He's absolutely stoked with the way that he's playing. He's playing fantastic. We have a really good chat. We play some legs of darts. He spent half a day here and we just had a really good time. So I hope that comes through on the interview, and I hope you really enjoy this. It's quite a long video, so not stopping you, dipping in and out of it, watching the first section. You can see where they're cut off anyway. You can watch the first section, go away and then come back and watch the second section. But as I say, there's some really good chat, some really good information in this video, and some fantastic legs of darts. So anyway, enjoy, and I'll see you at the end. Yes! 180! Brilliant. Right, Andy, how did you get into darts?
Well, it started from a young age really. Around this time of year, Christmas time, you know, the world was always on, so I'd sit there with my dad and my younger brother and be watching the darts, and my dad would be shouting out the checkouts and stuff like that kind of thing, and it just went from there from a young age, because my dad was a very competitive player, and he used to play a lot of darts, and he used to play 5 nights a week, and then he played for county as well, like, so, you
well,
know.
that was it. It was a proper working man's sport, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
I mean, I class it as a sport. A lot of people say it's a game, which it is a game, but I saw it as our sport, because the only thing we had was kicking a football around in the street,
yeah,
or playing darts. We weren't posh enough for cricket. All we had was an old Casey or a dartboard.
Yeah, well, I didn't start playing for, you know, I used to watch it every year with my dad, but I didn't start playing, and then this one particular year we went round to my dad's best mate, and back then used to call him Uncle, so we went round to Uncle Fred's, and Uncle Fred, he brought like, it was one of them soft tip dartboards that you get free darts with and stuff like that, and I was on it all day. You know, Freddie says to me dad, he says, oh, you won't get any one of them. And I remember we used to have vouchers for Argos and stuff like that come Christmas time. So with me Argos vouchers, we went down and he got me this soft tip dartboard, and you know, it went from there really. And the following year come Christmas time, I'd watch the players, and then once the games were finished, I'd be up there and I'd be trying to copy the likes of Ronnie Baxter's throw. It was like a really mechanical throw, or somebody else's throw, and you know, and then I got a paper round and started, you know, earning my own money and stuff like that, and
saving a little bit.
When I saved a little bit, I thought, you know what, I'm going to treat myself to it. So I brought a dartboard, and where the old one was, it was set up right distance and stuff like that in my room. My dad was like, what have you bloody brought that for, like? But you know, he put it up for me, and I brought a set of darts to my budgie, and they were Harrow's Vortex, and they were $7.99, and this was back in 1994. Was that
from Argos?
From Argos.
Yeah.
And it just went from there, and I just, you know, just played in my room, and I think I was unlucky really, because whereas you look now, you've got the likes of County Youth, JDC and stuff like that. There was nothing like that for us back then.
The thing is, if you think about it, even in the professional game, it wasn't enough to sustain a family.
No, and this is
really
why,
wasn't.
And this is why my dad had to stop playing darts, because you know we had there was a family of 4, and he had to work, so darts had to take a back step. And I'll never forget, my dad, he played Cliff Lazarenko on the day I was born, 22nd of July 1983 at Knighton Club, and my dad was beating Cliff Lazarenko, and he threw his first dart treble 20, threw second dart treble 20. His third dart went down the stem, and he broke the stem in the barrel, and they couldn't get it on. They were playing 1001 because it was exhibition. So my Uncle Peter's gone, here, use my dart. So using my Uncle Peter's darts and they aren't the same weight. And Cliff come back and beat me dad, but he had to beg me mum for go that night because it was the day I was born.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then it just went from there really. But my dad was a bit firm, a bit strict, and I used to ask him, he said, where am I going wrong? And all he used to say was, just got practice. And then, so all he ever did was play in my room, and like back then we weren't allowed in pubs and stuff like that, and then it got to a point where I was allowed in a pub, so I played for a bit in a pub and stuff like that, and then work took hold, and I was never any good, but do you know what I mean?
Well, it was the olden days. I remember when we were in Levenshulme when I was a kid. It was like it was a cricket club, but it was a working men's club, and you weren't allowed in where the dartboards were if you were a kid.
No.
So what I had to do was I used to sit on a certain table, and every time the door swung open, I could see them chucking darts. Chuck for bull. 25. Ooh, need to start. At least I don't have to fiddle with a machine. 60. Steady Eddie. Oh. 81. Saved it. $45.
One, 2, 1.
Great darts. Oh, come on. 81. I'll do a 60. Ooh. Yeah, and then one. Tonski. Darts. Tonski. Muskie, great darts.
$79.
Yep.
$43.
43. So, fetching me back in it. $57. Oh. 82.
82.
Yeah. $56. Oh dear. Horrible. Great dart. The door used to sit dead close, and as it closed I used to think, oh, I'm going to have to wait till somebody else
needs toilet, something
open
like that.
the door and then it swings. Because it's like a fascination, isn't it? It's like having somewhere that's forbidden. You're not allowed to go in there, so the only thing you want to do is see what's going on.
The only time you could watch it is when it was on BBC and it was BDO and stuff like that.
Yes, yeah, World of Sport.
Because like at night time and stuff, you weren't allowed out. Once them street lights come on, it was time to go home. Like, and I moved out to Ireland because of work, and then moved back. And then once I moved back, I thought, right, concentrate now. So I started playing a lot more nights, and I could see my game progressing. And then there was a bloke named Ian Snowy Davies, and he took me under his wing, and for a couple of years I was playing really well, and you know. Whereas my dad would never give me any tips and stuff like that, Snowy did like, and
yeah.
You know, he brought me on a bit, and he put me right with my checkouts and stuff like that, and you know what that bloke did for me in darts, I'll never forget. But I made a massive mistake because Snowy died of a heart attack, and with that I thought I've lost my mentor.
Yeah.
I've lost my mentor. And the worst thing he ever did, I mean, I wasn't playing with them arrows. I'd found a set. I can't even remember what they were, but I was throwing phenomenal darts with them. It was like 140 ton. And when he died, I just felt like
Well, it's a grief process, but the thing is you don't see that at the time.
No, but what I did is I threw him in a bin. I threw the darts away in the bin, and that was it. And I didn't play any darts for 5 years, and it was the worst thing I ever did. And I'll say this because I don't want people making the same mistake I've done. You know, we're chatting as friends, but I know this is going to go out on the internet and stuff. Do not ever stop playing, because when you're at a point where you're good, stay there. Don't give up. Don't chuck them away and do that, because I lost 5 years of my darts, and then I look back and I think, well, if he hadn't, where would I be now?
Yeah.
Would I be on the PDC turkey? Do you know what I mean? Would I have a tour card? And you know, and it was like my missus, she's football mad. And I remember once she says, "Oh, can we go down the pub? Watch the football?" I said, "Yeah, go on." So we went down the pub, watched the football, and I'll never forget. It was a Monday night, and it was down in Allsager, and she's watching the football, but they've got like a league game on in the darts. So she's watching the football, and I'm watching the darts.
Your head's looking over.
And I'm not even watching the football. You know, a massive. I used to follow football, but I was just glued to the darts like that. And I was like, I just kept looking at her. And she went, "Oh, go on, go and have a chat with him." And I went over and had a chat with a bloke named Andy and his Mrs. Karen. They used to run that team on a Monday, like, and they asked me if I wanted to play, and I just started back then, and I've never looked back, but I've never been at that level where I was. Do you know what I mean? When Snow was there, I've never been back to that level, but you know, I'm getting there slowly, and all joking aside, a lot of it is down to your help. Do you know what I mean? My darts have gone from that level up to that level in 18 months or so. Do you know what I mean? We had a bit of a break because of COVID, but I'm
well. The
really
thing is, like you say, you had 5 years off, and when you come back, your body's not the same.
No.
Your mental state's not the same. It's like you said, if you keep going, it stays with you.
You can't ever stop playing.
Somebody said to me, "Oh, it's like riding a bike." I went, "No, it ain't." I said, "No, it's not at all."
Back then, you're fearless.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Like you'll see that with kids when they're jumping on rope swings and stuff like that. And we've all done it ourselves. But you have a look at doing it now. It's like them dead steep slides on holidays and stuff like that. As a kid, you jump straight on, whereas now you go, "Oh, I'm not doing all that, no way." You know what I mean? And that's that fear factor. And when you come back into a sport where that fear factor hasn't been there, but you come back to a sport and you have got that fear factor, and then you're playing people and you're getting beaten day in, day out. You beat all the time, getting beat. It knocks you. And I mean, it massively knocks you.
Yeah, 85. Tomsky. Tom. Good darts. Great last dart. $57. Oh. 88. In the tops. Yeah, great darts. $85. Oh, 45. Pulled it. 60, steady Eddie. One, 3, 3. Good dance. Good dance.
81.
81. Tomsky. Oh no, 64. Unlucky. Unlucky.
Flopped the bed with them first, so I thought just play it safe while
Yeah. Oh. No.
28.
Yeah.
Oh, bust.
Oh. 2, 4. Oh, one of these days, 60, 69, 79, 81. Inside the wire, 50 scored. 43. Oh, come on. Better.
Have quite a bit to do with the county youth and stuff like that. I look at these younger players and stuff like that, and you know, some of them. I mean, back then we didn't have any of that, but you're looking at the likes of people like Whitley and stuff like that. They're 89 daughters.
Yeah.
They're 14 years of age. At 14, I was playing conkers, and you know, I'd be happy if I had one treble. Do you know what I mean? And
the problem for them is when they transfer from the youth into the big boys game, and you see a lot of them falter there because when they're in the youth game, they're not. I wouldn't say they're cosseted, but they're looked after. Whereas when you get into the big boys league and you've got a crowd full of people that are booing you and what have you, I mean, Fingy's done it. Ted Everts is one of them. But the other thing that I can't understand, and I think is absolutely wrong, is the fact that you can play in the youth finals when you're 20 odd years old. What's that all about? That is wrong.
Yeah.
That is so wrong.
I think that was because when he qualified and stuff like that, he was within the age, but you're going to play it again because he's 24 now.
Yeah.
But, you know,
well, that should finish at 18.
Yeah.
Because for the same, and not because
or
of
21, because county youth is up to 21.
Yeah.
So it should be capped off at 21 years of age
maximum.
And then, do you know what I mean? That's when you're going for the big boys then.
Yeah. I mean, it wants a good looking at, because unless they allow them to play from 14 or 15 in the bigger competitions, but maybe at a lower level, if they go off earnings.
Oh, we have this trouble with.
But they've got to get used to crowds.
Yeah.
Once they get introduced to it for the first time, we see it time and time again. I mean, if I had a look on through the things, I could probably go through about 15 or 20 names that have got to that point. They've got the tour card and gone. As soon as they've got it, all right on the floor competitions. As As soon as they get on telly or they get in front of a crowd where they're getting jeered, they can't handle it. And that's what we were talking about earlier on when we were warming up, was about the mental side of the game and being able to cope with that. And it's like the amount of players that I say to them when they get to a certain level and I'm encouraging them to go out and compete, I felt a bit. I said, well, you will do. I said, you've got to learn to lose before you can learn to win, mate.
And when you can learn to lose, believe me or not, it can make you a hell of a lot of a better player.
Yeah.
A hell of a lot. Because
you learn to let go.
I played in pubs and I played in pubs and I played in pubs, and then one year, and I'm going back 3 years ago, I thought, you know what, I'm going to go Welsh Open. And I did. And I went Welsh Open, and it opened my eyes massively. And don't get me wrong, my arse fell out.
Yeah.
It fell out because hey, up there's Daryl Fitton, or and there's Andy Hamilton, and you're thinking, oh my God, I could be playing against them. And then, and believe it or not, your arse does drop out. But I've got to a point now. I'm happy with my darts, and I don't worry. I don't care whether I win or I lose. But at the minute, I am playing some good darts, and I'm happy with how I'm playing like. So.
Well, that's it. I mean, if you go out to your local pub like I do, all the local pubs in the area, it's not big-headed to say that there's not many people who can give me a run for my money. So I go out and it's like, it's too easy, if you know what I mean. But then when you go to a competition and you're meeting the cream from each different area, and they're like you,
I tell you what,
then it's a good eye-opener. It really is.
Staffordshire is one of the hardest places to be good at darts. You've only got to look at who's come out of there. You've got Phil Taylor, Eric Bristow, Eddie Lewis, Andy Hamilton, Mark Frost, Ted Hankey, Ian White, and then you've got all your County A players and stuff like that, like your Johnny Burgess, your Andy Beardmores, and all them.
All your Pro League players, all your Super League players,
all your Super
all the way down.
And you think, Jesus Christ, do you know what I mean? And it's the same with other counties like Lancashire and places like that.
It's Pitt Towns and thingy, and industrial Manchester. We've had some really, really good dart players come from Manchester.
So and like you play Super League, so like I play Super League on a Thursday, and then next minute an opposite team will turn up and you'll look and you think, Jubilee Club, they've got Ian White playing for them and Andy Hamilton. You think, well, there's 2 games you've lost already, like, do you know what I mean? But you've got...
Well, that's just a mental state.
That's just, like you say, it's in your head, you've just got to...
You've got to stop porting straight away, like you say, you think, oh shit, Tony O'Shea, he turns up, walks through the door, you think, hope I don't get drawn against him, otherwise I might as well just sit down. But it's not the case. Sometimes you can give them a good run for the money.
What you find as well is if you do draw against them good players, it makes you play better yourself. Because you know you're going to lose. Yeah. So, well, 9 times out of 10 you know you're going to lose, but you haven't got that worry about, do you know what I mean?
I've always said...
You're not putting that pressure on yourself because you know they're a fantastic player, so you just throw your darts. And they're the kind of games you think,
they pull you along.
I played well there, and I had a perfect example against a lad who plays County A, and like as soon as I drew him, I thought, oh God, I've got him. But I tell you what, it was the best I played all season. And for them players to turn around to me after and shake my hand and go, I've had to play well there to beat you. And I've had that these last few occasions. I've played darts in different tournaments and stuff like that. I've drew against some real quality players.
Yeah.
For them to turn round and say, you've given me a game there, do you know what I mean? That is, my confidence is got that.
Sky high,
so
yeah.
It's like, well, I don't bother do a play now, like, so.
Stop it. 41. Yes! 180! Brilliant darts. Tom. 60.
$95.
Ooh. 57, 58, 68,
73. 27 left.
Right, 114. Oh, not like that, you turd. 72. Oh. I miscounted that, I thought it was 32. Spoon. Oh,
15.
15 score. Yeah, I miscalculated that. I thought if I go for a 60, that'll leave me 22. Stupid boy. 42. Yeah, game in 2. Come on. 3-2. Come on, lad.
$85.
Good darts. Done. Great darts. Done.
Good reply.
So. Ooh. 57. $59.
Yeah.
Pulver pulled it again.
92.
92, yeah. Wanted the 318s, not the 34s. $51.
Yeah.
Oh.
44.
David. Yeah, 44. Yeah. 10 darts. Nice one, 3-all. This is what you call a game. One, two, 12. $60. 60. Great darts. Ton.
We're going for 15 with that last one.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, come on.
62. Yeah, that's what I should have done really, is I should have gone for bull. You know, at the 25.
Yeah.
It was a much bigger target. That'll do. 70.
$83.
83, good darts. Not like that, David, you spoon.
66 left.
66. Oh.
17 spoon.
17, yeah. Leaves me 13 for tops. Oh.
Penalty. 60, 79, 87.
That's the problem when you run down that rabbit hole, you've got to go for it. Yeah. Four free, come on lad. This is a proper to and fro jobby. Oh, 41. Oh,
140.
140, it's right on the wire, the last one hit the wire, kept it out.
Oh.
Great darts. Great darts. Great adjust and good control. Stop it.
85.
85. Great darts. No, 41.
$105.
Darts.
$57.
Yes! Great darts. Great darts. Yeah, well, the one thing that I would like to add to this and all is, I think we met about 3 years ago now, innit?
Yeah.
It was about 3 years ago, so we had 12 months, and then we had 18 months off, and then you've been back now for 3 sessions, is it? This is the 3rd session, I think. And the difference between your darts when you first came and the difference to the way that you play now is just, it's just absolutely remarkable.
But
absolutely remarkable.
A lot of people, they might look at your videos and stuff like that and they go, well, you know, just another what's it, but joking apart, it does work. You've got to put the time in, and me, perfect example. If people could see how I played back then compared to how I play now, they go, no way.
Your technique was all over the place when you first came.
Some people who I've not seen in that distance, who've seen me play now, and they've gone, bloody hell, where have you had them darts from? Do you know what I mean? And all it is just fine tuning a little bit here and a little bit there.
Yeah.
And you know,
once you've got the base of the mechanical way, of the Dynamite Dave way, but the thing is, you see, is as you get older, Andy, nothing will change.
No.
Whereas if you've got your own individualistic throw, if you put half a stone on, drop half a stone off, you think it makes a massive difference to the way that you play darts, because if you've got an individualistic throw and your arm's going all over the place, you've got to replicate that with an arm that weighs an extra half a pound. Whereas if you're using the mechanical way and the only thing that you're doing, all that moves is your elbow. So there's so little to go wrong. And
it's like, as daft as it sounds like, my stance when I first started coming, everything was on my front foot, my back foot
was so unstable.
It was so unstable, and it was like, once you plant them feet, and don't get me wrong, sometimes it's a little bit uncomfortable, but your body adjusts to that. And then once that's in, and I've been passing it on to my stepson, kind of thing with his stance, because he was all front foot, and his back foot used to come off the floor when he was throwing. Then he'd get dead frustrated because his darts aren't going straight. And they'd say, plant your feet. You've got to plant your feet.
Yeah.
And now he's saying a bit more, but I have got to bring you up to you, because he does listen to me with some bits, but then other bits I'm like, oh, I've tried telling you so, you know. But it does work, 100%, definitely. I wouldn't keep coming back if it wasn't working.
Well, exactly. Well, the thing is,
I wouldn't spend the money if it wasn't working. Like, so it definitely works. I wouldn't spend my money, and I wouldn't, you know, sit an hour on the motorway.
Yeah, well, we've discussed this before. There's plenty of world champions out there, but there's loads and loads of world champions at every sport. But it doesn't mean that they're able to teach. It takes a certain type of person to be able to convey what they can do to someone else and make it make sense.
Yeah.
You can be the best dart player in the world. Phil Taylor could be the best dart player in the world. He might be absolutely useless at coaching, because it's not what he does, it's what other people are capable of doing.
Yeah.
And the great thing with what I do is it works for everybody. There is nothing else apart from, like, golf, your golf swing. You start thrashing about at a golf ball, you're going to be lucky if you can even hit it. You go to the pro for an hour, and all of a sudden you can actually hit the ball and you can hit it straight, and it's the same
it's
thing.
Like me, everyone's welcome to their own opinion, but, you know, I'm proof in the pudding. Do you know what I mean? If you looked how I was 3 years ago compared to where I am now, you know, and I'm only going out the same nights I was before, I'm playing darts the same, I'm still practicing the same.
Yeah.
But it's because a couple of things here and there have been ironed out that I've seen a difference.
Yeah. Well, that's it. When you get to the next level, if you start getting into like the TV tournaments and what have you, then when you get that behind you, you'll be able to afford to pay me to come with you, and then I'll be on your back all the time.
Oh, definitely.
And the difference that you'll see between now and then will be just phenomenally different, because I'll be thinking I'll be on at you all the time. Every time we're practicing, I'll be on your back, making you, like Thingy Eric did to Phil.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be making you, doing your drills and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I'll come second. Don't ring me if you come second and put phone down on. It just takes that one. I mean, I didn't get it with my dad, whereas I got it with Snowy, and I'm getting it with you. It just takes that one person just to give you that little bit of a boost.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Just that boost. When they're there, or you know that they're there backing you and stuff like that, it will bring you on. 100% it will bring you on. It's when you've got no one, or someone that just says, oh yeah, you've just got to practice, or do you know what I mean? As opposed to someone who is putting the time in, and this is why I've got so much time for you, like, and like
Well,
I say,
there's a load of players, there's a few players I'd love to get my hands on. I'd love to get my hands on Andy Lewis. Because if you watch when he throws smoothly, when he's hitting 180 after 180,
that lad is,
and then he starts all this robotic shite and he goes crap. And I'd just love to knock that out of him, if you know what I mean, to stop him from doing that. Stand still and stop wobbling about everywhere.
One of the most naturally gifted darts players to ever grace the land.
Yeah.
He could have gone on to win more than what Phil Taylor ever did.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but he's had some personal issues and some, you know, he's let stuff get in his head. And look at the likes of Leighton Bennett and Bradley Brooks and stuff like that. All young lads who were just...
Yeah, well, Leighton Bennett, he went in that, what's it called, Darts Planet TV, when Chris Mason ran a couple of competitions with them in Birmingham. He went down to that, and he actually, in the thing of the final leg, he did a 9 dart in the final leg to win the final of it. Just absolutely.
Just massive.
Like that young lad the other day.
Borland.
Yeah,
Willie
exactly,
Borland.
yeah.
That last leg again, I know Bradley quite well, like, because he's good mates with a few lads who I know up Staffordshire and stuff like that. And for a lad to chuck in a 9 darter in a deciding leg.
On telly.
On telly.
Well, that shows you, right, that he is a future world champion if he wants it, because he can perform on stage. I mean, look at Ian Diamond White. He can't throw on stage. He gets so far and then he falls to bits. Why? I have no idea. But that has got to be psychological.
But if
because on the floor, mate, you can't touch him.
You look back phenomenal. Six years ago, he was a 140 machine. 140, 140, 140. Do you know? Whereas, and like I say, I know him through Super League and stuff like that. But when you watch him play, like at the meetings every month, Lee starts, Ian White, 10 dart leg. You know what I mean? So you know it's in the tank with him and stuff. I's finished 167 and you know, and I think he had a 170 checkout last year. Do you know what I mean? And you're like,
yeah,
take that to there, take that to there. Do you know what I mean? But I think there's a game in anyone. They just need guiding in the right direction.
And the thing is, you've got to go and do it. So like for you, what I would suggest you do is probably try the UK Open, because you've got to have Riley's qualifier somewhere near you. I'm just hoping that they go back to that, because they said they were changing it for COVID. They changed it for COVID, and I said I really do pray that they go back to it, because you can't have an open darts competition that's a closed shop.
No.
You know what I mean? I will totally lose faith in that if that's what they do, because the whole idea of the Opens, it used to be the England Open, the Welsh Open, the UK Open. Those should be for the pub players to be able to, like Rob Cross did, to come from nowhere and become someone. And because you will always get one of them, and even if it's only one every 5 years, what it does, it gives the man in the pub the idea that he can do it.
Well, look at the News of the World.
Oh God, yeah. Started off with something like 5,000 players
5,000 players, and you know it goes down to, you know, being on tally in a televised final. But
God,
you've only got to look now at the money that's in darts compared to what it was back then.
I was watching one on Grandstand going back, I think it was late 70s it had been. The guy was actually throwing in a cardigan and a flat cap, and they panned the cameras round and there was not 1 inch of floor to stand on, never mind tables. That's what, with what I've started, the thing of the old school of players, because everybody, that's the one thing that I do get more than anything. Well, what about Michael Van Gerwen? What about Peter Wright? I said, well, yeah, they're today, they're not tomorrow. These kids are tomorrow.
Yeah.
So they're the ones that are going to start throwing in a mechanical way. I said, what'll happen? And he said, it's exactly the same as it did with TT racing, exactly the same it did with Formula 1. I said, when my old fella, my real father, used to be on Isle of Man TT, I said, he'd go and have 3 or 4 pints in pub. I said, get on his bike, I said, ride round Isle of Man TT. I said, they don't do that no more, do they? They're in the gym, they're watching the nutrition, they're practising, they're on there, they're riding around the thing.
And it's the same with dart plays.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same with dart days, and the perfect example with that was Phil Taylor. And Phil Taylor turned around And he went, I'm not fit enough anymore. I can't keep up with these younger players. You know, but that bloke, he can still play darts.
Of course he can.
I'll tell you straight, he can still play
He's
darts.
the best dart player that's ever walked the face of the earth.
And all these that turn around and say that they're going to match his record,
No.
Not a chance.
No
Not
one
a
will.
chance, because when you look at the likes of your Bradley Brooks and your William Borlands and your Ryan Searles and all these younger players who are coming along, and your Nathan Aspinalls and stuff like that, they're just going to blow you out, blow these other lads straight out of the water. Straight out of the water. No one will ever, and it'll be the same for them once they get of an age. You'll have these kids who are watching them now, who are in the 10s and 11s, who are already playing. We've got a player on staff to youth, young Reece Hubble. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the thing is, you see, is they can see the future in it. When we were kids, there was no future in it.
No.
There was no money, there was no bling, there was no fancy houses, there was nothing. Whereas now, if you go into, like, if you get your tour card and do well in your first year, you can be sat on over £1 million in your first year.
Yeah.
When we were young, you'd have been lucky if you were sat on £2,000.
Yeah.
If you'd have been to and you'd have travelled all over the country, down to your Bradfords, down to Stoke and everywhere, you'd have been lucky to sit on £2 or £5
This is the difference, like, because a lot of these dart players now, they've got sponsorship. You know, there was nothing like that back then. Your only sponsors back in the day was your darts manufacturers, Unicorns, Arrows, and the rest of them. Whereas now, you look at some players and they're sponsored by paint companies, they're sponsored by William Hill, they're sponsored by this, they're sponsored by that, and you know, a lot of the hotels and all this and all that, and the travel and all this are all sorted out by the sponsors. Whereas back then for us, you make your own way there, you sort your own hotel out. If you're working, you've got to book your holidays. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you go far, you might have to book 2 weeks holiday if you're going to make it to the final and stuff like that. And you've got your travel back and all that. Like.
Oh, not like that. 8.
Five.
Sixty. Steady, Eddie. Ooh, 58. Great last start. Great last start. Right, 136. Not like that. Come on, David, follow it.
Oh, you dick.
78.
Should leave me 32.
Does. Nope. 60. Andy, come on. Oh no,
27.
27. Who's gone? Oh no, one scored. Bust. You just pulled it a little bit.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. Yeah, game in one. It was a semi-professional game or sport, whereas now it's a proper professional sport, and now we've got Lisa Ashton, we've got Fallon Sharrock, we've got Anastasia, we've got a lot of them that are coming in now that are purely dart players. You know what I mean? Like Fallon, she's got a family to run as well, but the only thing she does is darts. She doesn't go and work as well. And look at the difference in the way that she plays now to what she did 5 years ago when she was in the BDO, when she had to look after the kids, work a full-time job and play the darts. It's the same for them now as it was for us in the 60s.
I've got a mate.
But we're coming through it.
I've got a mate, and he come off a motorbike and he had 3 months off work, and in them 3 months all he did, while his leg was in plastic, was throw at that dartboard. And in them 3 months he was going 180, 180, 180, 180, 180, because he had the time to do it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, when you've got the time to chuck at that board all day for 3 months solid, I can guarantee you put them up against someone like your top boys and they beat them.
Yeah.
Because you've got the time to do it, whereas your working man like yourself and myself and stuff like that work shifts and awkward shift patterns, and you can't always make darts and stuff like that. You see a massive difference.
Yeah.
But where you can, you've got to put that time in.
Yeah.
Because if you play decent 1 week and then say you're on call the following week and you don't pick your darts all week, and then the week after you're off call and you throw your darts again, and you're like, fucking hell, 2 weeks ago I was, you know, throwing phenomenal, whereas but it's because you've not put in the time. You've got to put the time in. If you want to be any good at anything, you've got to put the time in.
Well, that's it. You've got to treat it as a job. If you want to be as good as Phil Taylor, then you've got to treat it like a job. Like I was saying to you when we were practicing, you've got to clock in. You've got to clock in. You've got to do your hour and a half, 2 hours, clock out again, go and have your brew, talk to your missus, come back again, do another 2 hours or an hour and a half, dinner time, 2 or 3 hours for dinner, and then come back again in the afternoon and do the same thing again. You do that 5 days a week for 12 months, and look at what type of dart player you'll be after that amount of time. Because you get a load of them. I was watching a programme with Matt Edgar and Ryan Searle. Matt Edgar was talking on the thing and Ryan Searle was chucking behind him. And he says, oh yeah, and I think Zachy Grayling was there and all. And he said, thingy, we'll do an hour and a half, 2 hours. Well, to me, that's not enough. That's not enough. If you want to be, if Matt Edgar wants to be as good as Michael Van Gerwen or Phil Taylor, 2 hours a day isn't enough. It's not enough.
No, not a chance. You've only got to look at Phil Taylor's training regime. Get up, straight on a board, 2 hours, then go and have his breakfast.
Yeah.
Come away, back on a board, 2 hours, go away, have his dinner, come back, hours on the board, come away, have his tea, come back, on the board, and there's no one that has ever put the time in that what he is.
And that's why nobody will ever play darts like he did.
And this is why he's 16 times world champ.
Yeah.
There won't be anyone unless some young lad watches this and goes, oh no, do you know what I mean? You've got to put that time in. You can't just wait. Don't get me wrong, some players, they're naturally gifted. They can naturally gifted throw a dart, but at the same time, you've still got to put that time in to get anywhere with this sport.
Yeah, with this sport, yeah, you have. You see, it's a thing. It's a dedication. Like I said to you, it's a passion.
And whether you win,
it's a passion
lose,
for certain people, but like Phil, I'm not saying that he hasn't got a passion for the game, but he's a mercenary. He's a mercenary, and that's why he's a multi-millionaire, and that's how he managed to get that contract with Target for multi-millions of pounds. For the simple reason is he was worth it, and look at the rewards that he's got for the amount of time and dedication that he's put in. Right, come. Deja vu. Great saver. Tumsky. Got you. Good darts. Solid darts. No. 26. Good dart. I'm thinking now. $57.
$98.
Good darts. Two good visits there, mate. Done. Not good enough. Oh, told you. Great darts, so that's 30, 47,
67.
67. Great dart. Five all. Oh, come on. Oh, 68, 68. Ooh, 45. $75.
82, isn't it?
76. Yeah, 82. It's me who can't count. I'm putting 9 on it instead of 7. Dope. Darts. Told you my numbers didn't work.
$95.
95.
$45.
$95.
45.
Don't like that. No, David. Oh dear.
28.
28.
Tom.
Good darts. Ooh, 52. 2.
Fifty-two.
52. Yeah. Did I win?
Yeah.
Well, look at, hey, I tell you what, that was a good game, that. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, that was a real good game, that was. And it's Roy Castle. Dedication's what you need. If you haven't got the dedication, you'll only ever get to a certain level.
You only get in, you only get out what you put in, and that's a classic saying what you've said.
Yeah, it's on all my shirts. Like I say, you only ever get out of this game what you're prepared to put in. And if you're prepared to treat it like a job and become a professional, you will become a proper professional dart player. If you're not, then you'll only ever get to a certain level, and that's all you will ever do. And it's very true, that. Anyway, it's been fantastic. Cheers, Andy.
Cheers, mate.
Really enjoyed that. Really, really good, mate.
No problem.
Nice one. So that was, I think, I really, really enjoyed doing this. I hope, even if you don't find it fantastic because it's not darts coaching, I hope you found it entertaining and interesting. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you lads and lasses feel the same. So thanks very much for watching. Thanks, Dick, for sticking through to the end. Don't forget, if you want any coaching or anything, you know what the script is. Everything's down in the description. Just get in touch with me. If you want a path like Andy's been through, and you want to come out the other side as an absolutely fantastic dart player, then the Dynamite Dave way is the only way to go. Right, so thanks for watching. Don't forget, you'll only ever get out of this game what you're prepared to put in. And always, 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 toe to the hockey.